What are some of the most prolific assumptions that non-actors make about actors or acting? I recently posed this question in the Augmented Actor Facebook group, and I got a huge number of responses. So I've curated a list of the most common assumptions that muggles make about actors. So this video is really geared for you non-actors out there to help you better understand what it's like to be an actor. So come right back. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I am Doug Fahl, here to help you augment your acting career in as many ways as I can. Now, if you're a performer, you have probably heard a lot of uninformed crap from people who aren't actors. Questions and assumptions that people make about actors and the business of acting that just aren't true. So let's try to dispel some of those myths. The first assumption is that actors are good liars, that we are great at lying, or we can easily deceive people because we're practiced at it. People think that just because we put on a form of deception to play a character, that we must be accustomed to lying in real life, and that we are good at it, and that you can't trust us. But that's not the truth. The funny thing is that when you act, you have to be good at lying, but you also have to be good at making an audience realize that you're lying, that the character is telling a lie. Have you ever thought of that? The truth is that our lies are scripted, and we have to rehearse them over and over again. And most people make terrible liars in real life, and that's no exception for actors. Anybody that wants to lie can learn a lot from acting technique, how to control your facial expressions and your body language. But I promise you, it's not as easy a thing to do in real life when you don't know what the lines are coming up. Most actors are terrible liars. Acting is just a hobby. People think, especially your family, your close friends, they think that when you take up an acting career, that it's just a hobby. It's not something to be taken seriously. We live in a world where having a regular 9-to-5 job is lauded and praised and prioritized over people who have creative careers. Just because we have to scramble to find work and keep income coming in, and we often accept low-paying gigs, does not make someone a hobbyist. Some actors act simply for the joy of it, but most of us strive to make an active career of it, which includes paying for a lot of things out of pocket and running our acting as a business. Amateur means doing it for the love of it, and a lot of people start off as amateurs, as hobbyists, but most continue on to make a career of this. And just because we have to ride that roller coaster in this career does not make it any more or less of a career than somebody who goes to the same job 9 to 5 every day. Anyone can act. The assumption here is somebody will see a show or a movie and they'll say, I could do that. That must be easy. People look at acting as effortless because they are watching skilled actors do their craft. They don't realize the amount of training and rehearsal and work that goes on to produce an end result, and they certainly would struggle if they were thrown into that environment. Actors are extroverts. Now, I would say that the majority of actors out there are actually introverts, or a combination of introvert and extrovert. We learn to be extroverts on stage. We learn to be extroverts in social environments, but most of us are actually shy away from social exposure and always having to be on. We get stage fright. We get high anxiety about going on in a performance. We struggle with nerves at auditions. It's all there. So most of us are introverts, and don't assume that because we are good at expressing ourselves that we are extroverts. Actors enjoy public speaking. Public speaking and acting are completely separate disciplines. Yes, we are both on a stage presenting some lines to an audience, but the audience is there for a different reason. Actors act for an audience that is paying to be entertained. Public speakers are presenting to an audience that is there for information or to ask questions or to learn something. The feeling of doing a public speech is super nerve-wracking for most actors. Because you're not acting, you are being yourself, giving information to an audience that is there for information rather than being somebody else for the purposes of entertainment. It's a different ballgame, it's a different feeling, and I know a lot of actors that just hate public speaking, and vice versa. Actors are pretentious and condescending and difficult to work with. So I think this assumption stems from seeing too much reality television or by believing the depictions of famous actors. There are some actors out there who are difficult human beings to be around, and they have big egos, but they weren't always that way, I don't think, most of the time. The other 98% of actors are humble, easygoing, and awesome at socializing and making friends. In order to maintain a career as an actor, you have to be a good person. You have to be reliable, honest, trustworthy, and friendly to people. And you have to try not to burn bridges and make people upset with you. That doesn't mean that we don't have difficult periods, and doesn't mean that we can't throw a fit from time to time, but just like anybody in any job, it's vital for us to make these human connections and to be a good person. So most of us are pretty easygoing. People assume that we can just skip rehearsal, that we can just miss a show in order to go do something else, that we can just take a day off whenever we want, just like you would at work. But acting is unlike any other job. First of all, we can be discriminated against by how we look, our age, our sex, all of those things. We can be underpaid and we can work long hours. But any actor worth their salt knows that you can't miss a rehearsal or performance just because you want to. You have to have an extremely good circumstance for missing a show. And even then, you may still be expected to carry on. This is something I'd like to see changed about the performing world in general. There needs to be more understudies and more options for actors who are sick or injured. But you have one job to do as an actor, and you are the only one that can do your job. And if you aren't there, it affects every person involved. Actors take their careers very seriously, so never ask an actor to just take a rehearsal off or miss a show. It's not going to happen. Shows just happen. The assumption is that we just get up and do these shows, that we just put on a play. Sometimes people will say, oh, you're an actor? Why don't you do something for us right now? And that's just the worst feeling, that like, oh, I'm just going to get up and be a tap dance monkey for you. This also manifests itself in questions like, how did you memorize all those lines? Well, it's based on the assumption that we just got up and did it. That we haven't put 4 weeks of intense rehearsal to put on that show. The truth is, we do. And we also go through lots of trials and tribulations and mistakes and errors on the way to that. So we make it seem effortless. We make it seem like it's happening in real time, but it's all rehearsed. A big assumption that people make in the day job arena is that we will gladly give away our acting skills to our day jobs. So many of us need a day job, an office job or a bar job or something like that. And it's happened so many times in my life when someone asked me to host an event or appear on camera in a company commercial. Once I was doing some motion graphics for somebody and they asked me to record the voiceover for the commercial without any extra pay. We're always asked to lend our acting skills to a day job, or somebody knows we're an actor, so they say, oh, you'll be happy to do this. But people don't value that as a skill. We don't owe these skills to anyone. We are not obligated to act in our day job, just as a law student wouldn't be asked to represent the company that they work for in a lawsuit. Many of these assumptions were responses from the actors in the Augmented Actor Facebook group. If you're an actor and you want to join that group, the link is on your screen and down in the description below. And if I missed any assumptions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what people have assumed about you as an actor. That's it. I'm going to let you go and get off the horn. Here's some videos to watch if you want to stick around a little longer. And I'll see you next time. Bye!